raining hard as hell. But I'm about to go get this footage, y'all. All right, let's get it.
Really had some nice coffee, huh?
Some Vietnamese coffee.
Damn, that sounds good right now. Kinda jealous.
So this is the two rear flares. Screwed them into this aluminum panel because it's straight.
Innovative.
I made sure they're both even, like the cuts I made and all that stuff. So they're all screwed down. And what I'm doing right now is just taping around the outside edge and taping across the top so I can pour some foam in here. I explained it all on the whiteboard, so follow me.
Right.
Okay, so you have a flare and you want to make a mold of it. So this is like a side profile. See the little line I cut? Trevor the flare, right? So that aluminum sheet, I screwed the flare down into the sheet and then basically taped across all this stuff so none of this foam seeps underneath, and then taped across the top so I get it somewhere around the top. It'll probably push up the top a little bit of the tape. So we're pouring foam into the back half of it and then sanding it all flat and all that stuff and then priming it. You seen us prime stuff, whatever.
So now we're in stage 2.
Yeah, stage 2. So we'll have something that looks like this. Have the aluminum bottom, the actual fiberglass flare, and all of this foam inside right here. And what you want is a nice even line with the top and the bottom. Maybe you want like a little divot to show where you have to trim it later. And then you want about like 3 inches between where your part ends and the lip of your mold. That'll give you room to actually make your part, because when you make your part, it'll come up a little wider. So what we're gonna do is spray a tooling gel coat, which is like a regular gel coat that you would use for fiberglass, but it's a little harder. We spray it all on the inside here. Well, I guess on the outside technically. So we spray all that down there and then wait for that to dry. Maybe like 2 passes of the tooling gel coat. And then we're gonna maybe make like a little cardboard barrier on the side and then foam all of this up in here. So we'll pop it off. And then what we'll have is this.
Pop.
Yep, I've got it all, don't worry. So this red right here is the tooling gel coat. It is a negative mold off of our plug is what they call this part, the original part you make. So it's the exact reverse of the flare right here and the 3 inches on each side. So what we'll do is then wax the inside, just like you've seen us do a bunch of times, but I want to leave that 3-inch gap on the outside unwaxed. And then spray the PVA release foam also around the same kind of spot. We've done that to make all of our other parts, but that's why I was saying we were using the roof and quarter panels basically as a mold, because where this red line right here is, we would basically use, that would be the old part. So once you've done that, then what you have down here, you have your mold and the red tooling gel coat, and the PVA and the wax is the green stuff right here. Now this black stuff right here is this special vacuum bagging tape. It's sticky on both sides, and what you do is leave the top paper on the tape off and you stick it to the mold. That's why you don't want to wax all the way over here, because you want to make sure that your tape sticks well to the mold, because you can't have any air leak between this at all. And so what you do then is you would lay your 4 layers of carbon fiber in here, right? And then you'd throw in a layer of this mesh-like stuff.
Is that little hexagon shape?
Yeah. No, not that stuff. This mesh stuff just creates a barrier between your 4 layers of carbon fiber and what the last layer then would be vacuum bagging film. And then right there you got the mesh. So this obviously gets stuck to your tape and everything like that. But what you'll do in one end of the part, you'll have a vacuum port. You just basically cut a slit in the vacuum bagging mesh and then put some more tape around the outside of it. And then on the other end, you put another port. Do the same thing. And then connect your pump. My pump kind of looks like this guy right there. It's got an airline that comes off of him. So you create a vacuum here with your pump, cap off this side, and my pump's got a gauge in it, so it's nice. You can see where it is. So you want to pull vacuum on this whole thing, which compresses all these layers of carbon and the mesh and the vacuum bag into this exact shape that you got right here. And then, once you check and make sure you have no leaks anywhere else, what you then do is mix up a cup of resin and run this other vacuum line in there and then release the clamp. So what it'll do is this vacuum right here will slowly start to suck all of this resin right here in through the part, through all of these things. And what this mesh does is creates a slight border between the film and the carbon fiber. So the mesh has a little bit of room to move throughout it. Without this stuff, they sell a bunch of different ones. They're not all mesh. Some of them are like a thin, like fabric-looking material. But that just lets the resin flow evenly through the entire mold. And then once it starts to come up through here, a lot of times you have like a catch pot, which catches the resin, and then make sure that your vacuum doesn't suck in a bunch of resin. So once you have all that set, you let it dry. A lot of times you want to use like a slower drying resin because it could take 30, 45 minutes to run all the resin through your entire part, depending on how big it is. It also depends on where you put the ports. Sometimes you have multiple ports. We're just doing it as simple as possible. So then what you would eventually end up with would be a part that's kind of shaped like this, and then has like a little lip. And this is all carbon, and all you do is just trim that there, and then you have your part, because you're gonna pop it off here, right here. And you'll have perfect amount of resin per carbon fiber infusion, and you'll have all 4 of your layers done in one foul swoop. And you can even go a step farther and spray a clear gel coat in here, and then it'll have a gel coat on the outside basically, and then all the layers of carbon and resin inside underneath it. And you can polish that gel coat. But that's where you get to parts that don't have good UV resistance, because a lot of those gel coats say they're UV resistant, but not like clears, so like for cars and stuff like that. So that's why even with a lot of people that make carbon fiber, if you're going for full race dry carbon fiber, you're not going to use the gel coat, sorry, because all that does is just add weight. It's not really going to help you at all. But most carbon fiber pieces you buy are actually like 3 layers of like fiberglass, 1 layer of carbon fiber, just so it looks pretty, and then a layer of gel coat. And that gel coat, they say is UV resistant, but not. But that's why we always clear coat it. So basically what we've done so far is just mated what is going to be the plug to this piece of aluminum, also I guess part of the plug. I'm gonna fill in the rest of this because I'll have that 3-inch gap between my part right here and the outside, so I can run the tape and everything like that. And then what I need is a 3-inch gap along the edge of the part. So I'm gonna need to have a 3-inch piece that comes across this whole thing like this, which is where foaming it comes in. This foam is just, it expands to like 300 times its size, or 300% its size, so I guess 3 times its, I'm not actually sure. It seems like a lot more than 3 times. But I've been using this stuff for forever. It's 2-part foam, you just mix it 1 to 1. So that's part A and B.
Cool. So, yeah, because you know that would have been a question.
Yeah, I mean the stuff's not cheap, but it makes everything a lot easier. Saves a ton of time. Stuff. Yeah, so I mean if your time is not as valuable, go ahead and use some other bunch of filler and cardboard and tape and hot glue and whatever you want to do. But if you're trying to get shit done fast, this stuff, and you got the money, this stuff's great.
To one of our subscribers, y'all should make a Wikipedia page for Street Banditos Wikipedia. Y'all got the logo. Y'all got the 3 Banditos. Let's see how creative y'all can get.
Yeah.
It's a little intermission.
Make up some backstories for us.
I'm really curious of what will be said.
Yeah.
Tim loves carbon fiber.
I grew up in a cocoon of carbon fiber, like Metapod.
That'd be some weird ass. Alright, I'm getting hot.
So all I'm marking is 1 to 1. So I'm gonna pour the first guy up to 2.5, second guy up to 5. Bada bing! This is part A.
Number 20. That's weird that they'll label 25 as A.
And 24 is B. Yeah, looks like coffee.
Yellow ones, I think like more yellow kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a caramel frappuccino.
Exactly. That's what you're looking for.
That good old milky.
Okay, it's starting to film.
There y'all go, look inside. Right now you're looking at the foam. Do what it's supposed to do. Foam up. The looks of it.
This is only 2 cups. 2 of these fill all of this. I'm gonna cut open a little slit over here, pour 1 more in this section, maybe spin this whole thing around so it's on an angle. And then that's it. Yeah, so 3 times its size. I don't know what the hell it's saying, but this is like probably 20 times.
Make sure I invest in solo cups. 32 ounce. These are the little things that one might overlook and sticks. Little paint mixes.
I bought about 1,000 of these.
So every time I turn around, I see one.
Yeah.
Just keeps growing.
Seen those guys that like make like a shape out of metal and then they foam underneath it and then they cut it with a blade and it's like the seagulls and they fly away?
Nah.
Cut to that flip. We'll find it in YouTube somewhere. Holy shit. This is crazy.
Big old pancake. And you can still hear it cracking.
Dude, snap, crackle, pop.
I'm about to say, I know you was waiting for
Let's say.
it. It was your saying. Somebody asked, do you drink etch primer?
Do I drink it?
Yeah.
Every morning. I actually use it as creamer in my coffee. Thanks for noticing, guys.
Some ASMR audio, hold
A little saw knife thingy just for when I do this. So you can just cut the foam. So one thing that sucks about this foam is once you grind it, it turns into a bunch of little pellets. And they're so light and they're like statically charged, and they're sharp as So they stick to you, and they're sharp, and they're really light, so they just float through the air and just...
It's kind of like how fiberglass is almost.
Yes, but it doesn't get in your pores, it just covers you. Dude, that's so hot. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can see those burn marks it makes too.
That's just from this foam.
So these burn marks caused that.
Yeah, this stuff on the inside of it is hot as I feel like I can get this close enough to where I don't have to use a grinder. See, like, it's coming up in big chunks, but like I was saying, you know, it's just static sticks to you. But it's not bad with this knife. But if you're using a grinder to kind of shape it a little farther, or any like sandpaper and stuff like that, then it really gets kind of bad. So this is as far as I'm gonna cut here. I'm gonna have to move this outside or something.
Since it's raining outside, he's gonna be doing all the sanding stuff in another section. This is the wash bay. For those that's curious about the shop,
Welcome to the wash bay. Just a section where we wash cars, you know, all that cool, fun stuff. And I don't know where he went.
So I'm just using 40 grit on a regular block. Make sure the edges are below the part just a little bit, because I have to use some, I'm gonna use a filler to fill in all these pinholes in the foam. You want your surface to be super, super thin. I mean, it's not super thin, sorry, super smooth.
man, this stuff stinks. All this body filler, ugh, sure has a very potent smell. If you keep breathing in, it just smells weird. So for those that know about bodywork stuff, you know the smell of that body filler. It's not the best. And I'm just bored, trying to wait till something exciting happens.
this stuff, it's micro pinholes and putty. A lot of these like really thin pinholes will get in your way, so you just spread some of this shit on, fills them in, and you can prime. Not looking for super perfect or anything on this thing. Just want to get it.
What is your concern for pinholes for the middle?
Well, so see like all this. If I prime this, there would be a bunch of pinholes, and then when I make the mold, it'll have a bunch of pinholes in it.
But just for it, even though it's like it's waved, that doesn't matter though.
Yeah, waviness doesn't matter because this is all of the mold flange surface technically. So all of this is all straight and correct.
Because this is what you technically.
I'm only going to keep that section once I make the part.
But you still want this perfect, I guess, for like the resin seepage or something.
Yep. Because I'm gonna have this be, so I'll probably pull vacuum from the center, have the resin come from around, and come flow across the part. Okay. That way I got a big buffer between where I can have the resin stop. So we have everything smooth. So I'm just gonna hit it with like 3 coats of primer, because some of this is like 40 grit, pretty heavy. Hit it with a coat, let it dry, hit it with a coat, let it dry. 3 times, and then we're gonna conclude this path. Basically then the only thing I'll do after that is run some guide coat over it and smooth it out flat with maybe like some 600 grit, so it's really nice and smooth. And then we have the plug done. Plug is half of the battle right there, maybe even more than half. And then next we'll just get on to making the mold.
Ooh, fresh primer. So like, how would you separate? You just like cut it down the middle and then...
When I sand, I'll make sure that this line where you can see where the edge of the part meets the edge of the plug, I guess. Well, I guess it's all the plug, but that way you can see where to trim it and everything like that. And then all of this area right here is we're gonna use this stuff called filleting wax. It's smoothed in, and as well as all of the old bolt holes. Wax all those guys shut, but we'll leave a little divot so you can see where to drill the hole and where to cut the flare.
So there y'all go, that's part 1. This will be a, what you say, like a 3-part series?
Yeah, so it'll probably be part 1, making the plug, which is today. Part 2, making the mold. And then part 3 will be making the part.
So yeah, basically it's like separating in 3 steps, how you explained on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
I see you got some Lotus flares. You want to
yeah, so we have
take a look at those?
Some Lotus flares we just had finished. They need a little more trimming and sanding and stuff like that, but these are going on Yummy R6's car. We're gonna do like a collab with him soon, and that's what's up.
There y'all go. Quick tutorial video for those that are curious. I know a lot of people was asking for like more tutorial style videos, so yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Do a couple more, and like, comment, and subscribe. I'm very tired right now, if y'all can't tell. All right, we out.